Hey, good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. On this video, I will be driving through the city of Pulaski, Tennessee, which is located in the southern middle part of Tennessee in Giles County. And this city was founded in 1809, which is an hour north of Huntsville, Alabama. The population here is at 7,524 people, and it's been losing, as of the 2020 census, it has lost 3.1% of its population. Now the median home price here is at $135,000. But I would say if you want anything half decent right now, be prepared to spend $180,000 for a house. And the median rent price is gonna go from $555 to $1,096 a month for an apartment. And as far as it goes for the crime, your violent crime is going to be 63% above national average, and your property crime is going to be 83% above national average. And for the racial division, you got 66% white, you got 24.1% black, you got 3.8% Hispanic. Those are the main racial groups that live in the city of Pulaski. And this city was named after Casimir Pulaski. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the first name right. It's Casimir, Casimir Pulaski, who was a Polish-born general on the Patriot side of the American Revolutionary War. Now, after the end of the Civil War, which ended in late 1865, Pulaski became the site of Confederate veterans who organized the first chapter of the KKK. To be specific, there are 6 veterans that organized the KKK. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to really elaborate much. But that group was organized in 1865 by 6 veterans of the Confederate Army. The army set up as a, now there was a contraband camps that was set up here in Pulaski by the United States Army to shelter and provide food, and to also teach the newly freed slaves how to read and write. And in 1870, the Martin Methodist College was founded, which was only for white students in the area to attend. But as of today, to be more specific, in 2021, the Martin Methodist College was later merged with the University of Tennessee, which the college is now known as the University of Tennessee South, which obviously is for anyone and everyone who is able to attend and has some money and all that good stuff to attend. And, as far as a few things to do in Pulaski, you got the Big Creek Winery. You have the Giles County Trail of Tears Memorial Park. You can go there and walk around. You also got the Milky Way Farm. And this farm was established by Frank Mars, the owner of the Mars Candy Bar Company. He purchased some land in Giles County, and during the tough economic times in Giles County, he employed plenty of workers to work that farm. And now I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents about Pulaski, Tennessee. Now, many years ago, I used to live in Tennessee. I spent a little bit of time in Nashville. Then I lived for, I want to say, about a couple of years in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And then from Hendersonville, I moved to Lewisburg, Tennessee. So I lived all over the mid Tennessee state area. And I remember Tennessee back in the day before it became a thing for people to move to Tennessee. Now, back when I lived in Tennessee, yes, Tennessee was growing. Yes, you had people moving to Tennessee, but not like you do today. Now, I would say that the cost of living in Pulaski is about the cheapest you're going to get in the mid Tennessee area. And that's gonna, I forgot what I was gonna say. But anyways, Pulaski, Tennessee is gonna be the cheapest place that you're gonna be able to live in the mid Tennessee area. And I would say next to Pulaski, the next cheapest place that I can think of where you might be able to live that's within either an hour of Nashville or Huntsville would be Lewisburg. Which I used to live in Lewisburg. I like Lewisburg. And to be quite frank, if I was able to find something right now as I speak in Lewisburg, I would have moved back to Lewisburg like it was yesterday. I'm gonna be honest, because I love that city. But unfortunately, housing prices in this region of the country have gotten super expensive, and I just can no longer afford to live in Tennessee. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm here in Alabama. So anyways, now Pulaski has always had Pulaski, as you guys know, is one of the cities that was the founder of the KKK. You had Pulaski, and then of course the other city was Martinsville, Indiana, which I've done a few videos on Martinsville, so feel free to check that out. But Pulaski has always had a reputation among people who knew Tennessee. And the reputation of Pulaski has never been a positive one. Like, I remember when I lived in Lewisburg, there was a time where, I was bored. I didn't have to work the next day. And I was younger. So, I decided there's a nightclub in Pulaski I wanted to check out at the time. So, I would say there were like 2 or 3 times I drove from Lewisburg to Pulaski to this particular nightclub. And to be quite frank, I forgot what the name of the club was. And I don't even know whether the club even exists today or not. But anyhow, I went to this particular nightclub in Pulaski. It was located close to downtown. And from Lewisburg to Pulaski, you're looking at about a half-hour drive. I took Tennessee 50. I took Tennessee 50 down to Pulaski. Now, like I said, Pulaski never really had a good reputation when it came to its racial relations in concerns to the African American community. Pulaski was always known to be one of those cities at least I've had a couple of good friends who were natives of this part of Tennessee, and they would always tell me if for any reason I needed to go to Pulaski, it was in my best interest to be out of the city by dusk. Now, that's what I've been told. And this was back in the late 2000s that we're talking. I mean, we're talking 2008 to be more specific. In fact, yeah, we're talking 2008. I've always been told that if I'm going to go to Pulaski, try to be out of there by dark. Well, the times I went down to Pulaski to go to the nightclub, obviously, since it was nightclub, it was already dark outside. But you know what? I totally disregarded the warnings and I came down here to Pulaski to go to the nightclub. And I went there about 3 times, had a good time at the club all 3 times. And I never had any issues with anybody in this city, not law enforcement, not nobody. But for some reason, I always had a uneasy feeling when I came into this city. It was and to be quite frank, nothing crazy happened to me here. I don't have no crazy tales, no crazy stories. It's just that every time I came into this city, I always had an uneasy feeling. Now, obviously, in Lewisburg, I never had that type of feeling. I mean, I love Lewisburg, which is down the street from here. And whenever I would go into Columbia, Tennessee, which is also, it's like 20 minutes north of Lewisburg, which Columbia, Tennessee, back in its day, it had a bit of a negative reputation too, but not as bad as Pulaski. Now, obviously, this feeling I had about Pulaski, I mean, I think I had that feeling because of what people done told me about the city, mixed in with some of the historical facts about the city that weren't so good. Now, I'm going to be honest with you people. I had no idea that this city had as many blacks living in the city limits. I had no idea that there were so many blacks in the city until I would say I would say a few years ago when I began, doing more research about cities and states. That's when I found out that Pulaski had a sizable black population. But before then, I was assuming that Pulaski was predominantly white, and black folks that lived in Pulaski were few and far in between. But when I went to this particular nightclub, there were a significant number of blacks at the nightclub, but at that time I did not bother to put two and two together. I just kind of ran with what I've been told by other people, mixed with some of the history about the city, which I think was the reason why I had this strange feeling about the city whenever I drove through the city to go to the nightclub. But anyways, nothing happened. Like I said, no weird stories. Now, as far as Pulaski is concerned, although this city is the cheapest city that you're going to be able to live in the mid part of Tennessee, I would say for those of you that are looking to move to Tennessee, you don't know where exactly in mid Tennessee you want to live. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that this city is a bad city to live, but I will say, in my humble opinion, there's other cities here in mid Tennessee that are far better choices than this city. I mean, like I told you guys, honestly, if you're looking to move to the southern middle part of Tennessee, if I were you, I would move to Lewisburg. You go check out Lewisburg. Hell, go check out Columbia. I would say Lewisburg or Columbia or even Fayetteville, Tennessee, in my opinion, would be a better choice than living here in Pulaski. Now I do got a video of Fayetteville coming up, so stay tuned for that video. But I would say honestly, the best alternative to Pulaski would be Lewisburg, which is only a half hour from here. And plus, if you move to Lewisburg, you will be closer into the greater Nashville area, which actually has a bigger economy and much more entertainment compared to the greater Huntsville area. And the city of Lewisburg in itself, it's the city of Lewisburg, in my opinion, it's a better city. The infrastructure of the city of Lewisburg is a little better compared to Pulaski. And for whatever it's worth, the population of Lewisburg is about double this city. And I do got videos on this channel of Lewisburg, so feel free to check out those videos. Now I will say Pulaski does have, if you're a fan of a bunch of rolling hills, this might be your city, because this city does have a lot of beautiful rolling hills, as you guys can see. But I would say when it comes to the infrastructure and just the general upkeep of the city, I would say Lewisburg would be a better alternative than this city. And plus, it's closer to Nashville. So that's my 2 cents about Pulaski as far as how I feel about this city. Now, however, if you're looking to live within an hour of Huntsville, but for some reason you want to be or you need to be on the Tennessee side of things, I mean, like I said, there's this that you can live here, or you can go check out Fayetteville. Now, there's this restaurant I went to in Pulaski. Now, I did take some pictures and I meant to post it, but I took the picture on my other phone. So, it is on my other phone, so I was unable to attach that picture onto this phone to make this particular video, so my apologies. But this restaurant I went to, it was a steak restaurant. It was in downtown Pulaski. I ordered a steak and a sweet potato and some broccoli. It was pretty good. I enjoyed the meal. And if I'm ever able to connect that picture to this video, I will do it. But honestly, and also when it comes to the people, now I will say, when I made this video, I did have several people here rave at me. So people here appear to be nice. I will give the city that much. Let's see what else. And here's another suggestion. Now, for those of you that prefer to live within an hour of Huntsville, Alabama, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys that there's a lot of smaller cities that are in the northern Alabama area, which I've done tons of videos of northern Alabama. Like, one example I'll give you is Athens. A city that would most closely resemble Pulaski, in my opinion, would be Decatur. And although Decatur is a lot bigger than Pulaski, I would say if you're gonna move here to Pulaski, unless you really want to, or you really have to live in the state of Tennessee for any reason, I would say cross over to the Alabama border. Check out some of the cities in northern Alabama. Some other decent alternatives to Pulaski would be Decatur, Athens. Yeah, Decatur and Athens. And for a little bit more money, you can also check out Hartselle. Or on the Tennessee side, like I said, check out Lewisburg. Because although housing here in Pulaski is a little cheaper than Lewisburg, like when I look at the cost of housing here in Pulaski, in my humble opinion, I wouldn't want to pay that price of housing to live here in Pulaski. If I really, really, really wanted or had to live in the southern middle part of Tennessee, I'd rather just go ahead and pay the extra money and live in Lewisburg. Now, I also suggested Shelbyville too. I'm not Shelbyville, but I also suggested Fayetteville too. And I do got that video coming up. So I'm not going to say too much about Fayetteville because I don't want to spoil the video. Alright folks, I'm done rambling. I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of this video. And as always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Andrew's Life. You guys have a blessed one. And I will see you on the next one.